Alright, welcome back to my 2017 in review series for the year 2018. Today I'm going to be talking about all the films I've seen in 2017, kind of looking back on the year as a whole for film in 2017. Now when I say my 2017 in review, I mean my 2017 in review, which means if I watch any movies that came out before 2017, they're still included. If I watch them for the first time, let me note that. I don't have any movies I've watched just to watch again, which weren't many, but worth noting. These are all movies I've seen for the first time when I put them in here in my records. Because something I actually did for the year 2017, starting in like around January 18th or so, up until now, I've been tracking every film, every show, every video game, every book, all those things. So all those 5 things. And I've been tracking them in like essentially a log. It's a Google spreadsheet, but it's got a log of all the. It's great. It's crazy. I know I'm crazy for it, but it's kind of cool. I think you'll be able to look back on each year as my progress is being made, going through all this new media. There's so much great media, and 2017 has allowed me to experience a lot of that. There was a lot of great stuff in 2017. So I'm just going to be going through the year, just kind of first saying all the different stuff I watched this year, and then going back talking about my favorites. In February 2017, I watched Princess Mononoke. That was part of an online course. I actually chose that movie. We had to do a critical analysis of a movie, and I picked that one. And then the Lego Batman movie, watched that in theaters. March 2017, I watched Logan in theaters. May 2017, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, The Fate of the Furious, and Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, all in theaters. June 2017, I watched Cars 3 in theaters. July 2017, I watched Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters. August 2017, I watched The Founder on Netflix, which is a movie about the founder of McDonald's. In December 2017, I watched Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Coco in theaters, as well as Wonder Woman, watched that at home. Well, that makes all in all that I've watched 12 movies in the year 2017. Now, my goal for 2018 is to beat all of these numbers that I'm going to share with you throughout the series. So, watch more movies, watch more seasons of television, and beat more video games. 12 is such an easily beatable number. It's insane. I could beat that in 1 month if I really put my mind to it. And I was like, wait, I'm just going to beat this right now. You could easily watch 12 movies in a month. That's crazy. This essentially comes down to I only watched movies in theaters, aside from a couple small outliers, and I have still plenty of movies I haven't seen that I own here, so there's no excuses. I have Netflix, and I also have access to Hulu, so anything on there I'm able to watch. I'd love if you could tell me any movies you think are worth watching, any ones you don't know whether I've seen them or not. Let me know as well. There are plenty of must-see movies that I still haven't seen, despite loving film plenty. And I'd love to come back in 2018 and be like, I watched 50 movies. No, that would be, whoa, that's a big goal. But 12 is a nasty number. I could beat it easily. Considering 10 of them, I watched one on Netflix and 2 were DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever. And yeah, so I watched 9 of the 12 in theaters. So I essentially just wasn't watching movies. So I watched, I believe it was Naked Gun 3. I watched that with a friend. I might have watched a couple other movies with other people that I had already seen. But yeah. That being said, obviously a goal I can beat and I should beat in 2018. We'll check back a year from now and see how that goes. But you've heard all the movies I've seen this year, and I wanted to tell you my favorite movie of the year. What gets the movie of the year awards? Someone give me the envelope, please. Oh, wow, thank you. Wow. It says here, the decision was actually easy. There were a lot of great movies in 2017, but ultimately one was far better than the rest, and that movie is Logan. Interesting. As you can see here, the paper actually said none of that. It's just my list of movies. Logan was amazing. I remember coming out of that theater like, wow, that's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, period. It was just remarkably done. It was the use of the rated R thing that was like amazing, that they actually got the rights to do that for an X-Men movie. It's like an X-Men movie in disguise. It was amazing, and it complemented the movie so well. Everything was done so purposefully, and even just watching interviews with Hugh Jackman afterwards, it's like he was so passionate about this movie, and he was proud of how it turned out, and really, it is something to be proud of. Just everything came together so perfectly for an excellent movie, and I think my decision was so easy. Like, looking at the list, I was just like, bam, that's it, easy. Like, none even came close. Most of the other ones were great. I'll say Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales was actually probably my most disappointing movie of the year. Like, really, it was not good at all for me. Like, I really wasn't feeling it. It feels like it's so overdone at this point. It kind of lost its charm. What is this, the 7th Pirates of the Caribbean or something crazy like that? I don't know. The plot felt very lacking at the time. I definitely remember that after watching it. Spider-Man Homecoming was great. Cars 3 I was even kind of disappointed in that, oh yeah, I mean the plot, it disappointed me how it kind of came to a cliche end in the end. It kind of worked itself out in a predictable way, and I'm like, I wish they didn't do it that way. It's a very unsatisfying end. And I love Cars, actually. It's like, Cars was a movie I grew up loving as a kid, and it was like always my favorite movie at the time. I was obsessed with it, and it still holds a place in my heart. But Cars 2 definitely doesn't have that special something, and then Cars 3 just kind of let me down a little bit on how it wrapped up. Coco was fantastic. It was really wonderfully done. It was a beautiful movie. I'd recommend watching it. Watch it with your family if you can. I think that would be a great movie to watch, like, especially if you're close with your family. You got a big family. Bring them all to the theater. That would be great. I don't know if it's even in theater anymore. Wonder Woman, that was cool too. Is one that I'd been meaning to watch for a while now. I'm pretty convinced that Gal Gadot is a Gadot. I believe it's Gadot, actually, which is a really annoying pronunciation of that name, but Gadot it is. She's probably the most beautiful woman alive, maybe so. It's just, and she's such a charming personality. Though she was so charming throughout the whole movie, and it was great how they didn't overly use her sex appeal throughout. I'm glad that it wasn't like a bunch of people taking advantage of her the whole time, because obviously, especially in that time period, if someone like that who's so naive to the world stumbles upon your doorstep, it's so it's not rare. I wouldn't have been surprised to see someone take advantage of her a lot, and fortunately, that wasn't like something he had to deal with throughout the movie, especially with the accompanying male character with her. He was actually compassionate and respectful, which was cool to see. Overall, I wasn't as blown away with it as some people were, but I thought it was so great nonetheless. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was great too. Love the soundtrack in that movie, man. Those movies are great soundtracks. I remember enjoying The Fate of the Furious a lot. Looking back, I'm like, wow, some of these early movies, wow, I can't even believe they were this year. It's hard to remember. But Logan was an early one this year, and it still stands out. March 2017. Yeah, so I guess now that I look at it, it's kind of an okay year for movies. There were a couple standout ones. The Last Jedi ultimately wasn't a huge fan of. It was had some good moments, but there was a lot of fluff in there, and I definitely hear the complaints, and I agree with a good amount of them from the Star Wars community. And that's me being not a hardcore Star Wars fan. I want to go back and rewatch all the movies and try to get more engrossed in it. But as a not hardcore Star Wars fan, I still found the complaints to be very valid, and definitely see it how it was lacking. I thought Force Awakens was definitely better than The Last Jedi in that regard. But yeah, so 12 movies in the year that I watched. They didn't all come out this year. These are just the 12 new movies I saw this year that were new to me. And my favorite movie of the year, definitely Logan by far. So I'm interested to see 2018. Like I said, there's so many out in the film world. So many of the movies I always see called must-see movies that I'd still like to see. And this really all comes down to motivation. Like I said, if I was just motivated, I could easily knock out 12 in like a month and just keep going from there. But with how many other things I'm juggling at the same time, that's where it becomes movies kind of a back burner thing. And like when someone brings up the idea of going to see a movie, then I'll do it. But I usually don't actively seek out movies, which is unfortunate. Yeah, let me know what movies, your favorite movies. I'm willing to check out anything. That's something with me and media. I have a very open mind. I'm willing to check out whatever. On to the next one. Next one's probably gonna be either television or gaming. I don't know which one next, but might be in different clothing because the video is gonna be a bit long. So I'd like to break it up a little bit. But thank you for watching. Oh my god, I love you. 2017 was okay. A lot of people say 2017 was horrible. I think mostly because of political stuff, which is true. It's true. There were some natural disaster stuff too, so I guess that didn't help the year. But hey, I'm in my own little bubble, and it's so great in this bubble. No, 2017 was awful in some regards. Some regards it was great, but most of the time I'm awful.